All right. So you all should be able to see my main screen here. I'm going to run through today some updates that we've been doing for the directory. And so this is primarily going to be talking about the directory. At the very end, we'll talk a little bit about the new ad server. But I'm going to just dig right in, and I'm going to say thank you to Xenos Local for sponsoring some of this development. Some of this was made possible by Janelle and kicked off some really cool things that we've built and that we'll continue to enhance. So always, many of you are commenting, but post questions that you have as we go, and we'll answer them. So for today, I'm going to start by reminding you, if you didn't see last week's call or you haven't seen the updates with family features, check that out. Somewhere between 40 and 60 new articles a month available for you for free, and you can either have them auto-publish or pick and choose the ones that you want. But today we're going to talk about the new invite feature for the directory, the new ability to upgrade directory listings in the admin without a credit card, which is very nice when you're selling campaigns. Some monthly reporting that we've introduced. Still more to do there, but it's a nice starting point on reporting for revenue, on-site support, and then the Broadstreet ad server. So as an admin, if you're on the site and you go ahead and click on the Manage Content link at the top and then go to Business List, you're used to seeing a page that looks a bit like this. From here, you can manage the unclaimed listings. You can add new listings. You can do a number of things, including see who owns a listing and their email address. Well, now you'll see a couple new things. Off to the right-hand side, you'll see upgrade buttons and invite buttons. Now, the invite only appears on unclaimed listings. Claimed listings have already been claimed, so they're in control of them. They can add managers to their own listing, but that's done by them. You don't need to worry about that. But for unclaimed, you've got an invite option, and you also have upgrades. These are somewhat related, so I'm going to the first example we're going to cover here is you click the invite option. And so I'm going to pick Oliver Bistro. We're actually going to do this together as a group. Bordenton asked that we invite them, so I figured let's do it as part of the call itself. So you can see a few fields here. First name, last name, email address. This is the email address that will be their login. So hopefully you know this person and you have an email and so forth. Now, let me stress that should you invite someone, and then you find out they're no longer there, we can that claim and do it for you, but it does have to flow through us because what you're going to be doing is converting a free listing into an express or paid listing. You'll also notice you've got a custom message field. Hey, Bob, this is Brian. We talked about adding your directory listing to our directory. Click the link below to sign up. Talk again soon. See ya. So personalize it. This is a way so it doesn't look like us mass spamming people. But we do have a standard message as well, which you can see. And then there's a link that they're sent. So if the user does not exist, they have never signed up to your site, when they click that link, it'll ask them for a password. The email address you enter here, coupled with that password, will be their login. If the user already exists, the system will detect that because it recognizes the email address, and it will take them straight to manage their listing. So either way, you're covered. Now, as you continue along, you'll notice at the bottom that there's an invite to express and then paid options. Most of what you do will be invite to express. This is a great way to get people involved with your site, and you obviously don't want to give away free listings. However, in the event that you sell a package, which is what this upgrade is really useful for, and you say, look, you're going to be spending $300 a month with me, you don't any longer need to have them sign up for the directory with a credit card, which is just a little bit cumbersome. And so you can upgrade to enhanced or premium that way. Now, you can invite an upgrade or just upgrade once they've already claimed their listing. So if you click on an express listing and click upgrade, you're going to see a page that looks a little bit like this lower section here. I'm zoomed in now. And you'll notice that we do the revenue split, of course, and that upgraded listings, whether with credit card or in the admin, are subject to it and so forth. So there's going to be a note here just to remind you. And it's a great way, again, to sell packaged listings. So you can do it either way from scratch. It is important to note that when you do send the invite, you're making that claimed for the person that you're associating it with. So now you can to recap, you can send invites, you can upgrade, you can do it together, or you can do it separately. And then we've introduced some revenue reporting. So on your site, when you click Manage Content, under the business list link is a new link that says revenue, and you'll see something that looks like this. Now you'll notice one thing we still need to do is actually show it in chronological order, so a small little thing, but I didn't want to keep that from showing you. And so you can see your monthly revenue, and the way this is going to work is it's going to be a nice, easy way for us to see when we need to apply credits or charge you. So as you'll know, we apply credit or send you a check when your outstanding balance reaches $200. And so it's a nice, easy way for us to see. This action over here on the right is something that we can take by posting a payment. Say we mailed you a check or applied a credit to your account or whatnot, and then the payment will be reconciled here. Now, if you go out and you sell 100 directory listings as part of your campaigns, it's likely that the revenue will flow the other way, right? The revenue split will flow from you to us instead of us to you. And so we'll reconcile that here as well. Basically, this is the very start of what will become a much more comprehensive revenue reporting system, and we have a number of features we plan to build over the next year or so, which will help drive self-service revenue throughout the site, all of which will be reported here. All right, this is going to be a short day because everything's pretty straightforward, but if you do have questions or clarifications, let us know. If you take a look at your site and you see something that looks funny, also let us know. There's a lot of back data that we've sort of plowed through, so it's possible something wasn't quite right. But the next thing I want to talk about is on-site support. So we've had the knowledge base for a while. We've had a number of ways for you to submit support requests or to search the knowledge base, but now we've added it to the site. So you'll find that on pretty much any page with a form and all the admin pages, you're going to have this little link item over here on the right. And when you click on it, it's going to launch this modal screen. So chat is not likely going to happen, but you can try it. And you can, of course, submit a support request. But I really encourage you to search the knowledge base. So if you type in, featured topics, you're going to find results from the knowledge base about how do I set and use featured topics. And you don't even have to leave your own website. So this is a nice feature, and it's also now going to be something that your site visitors see. So you can see I'm on the new event page. And so anyone who's trying to post an event, if they're having trouble, they can hit this and they can ask a question or whatever. And so basically it just opens more lines of communication. And if they happen to say something like we just got last week, I'd like a subscription to your magazine, we forward that to the publisher and you can take care of that. But it makes it much easier for people to get in touch. So we're excited about this. It should streamline support and make your life a bit easier as well, pretty much from anywhere that you happen to be on the site.
Yeah, so I'd also like to add that ad server, there's a lot of different ways that you can now kind of leverage content in order to help promote your directory listing. Brian's already talked about bundling. Anytime you sell any kind of advertising, whether that's in print or online or on Facebook or through email, you should bundle in a premium directory listing to build that into the package and build that into your pricing. And now, whenever you post an article about a local business, about a local event, about a local something that's going on, a person, place, or thing, make sure you're listing linking to the directory, and over time as you build that up, you can use that as a selling point. So, when you're talking about premium listings, you'd be like, well, something that we can do that other local directories like Yelp can't do is we can publish articles. We're doing that all the time. We're covering local events. We're talking about local people and local businesses. And every time we do that, if you have a premium listing in our directory, we're going to link to it. And when we link to it, we're going to let you know that we link to it. And that's something that you can share with your customers as another proof point, another, something that you can share on Facebook or through your email account. So, we're basically, as a publisher, you're able to create content that the businesses can use to promote themselves, and it becomes more than just a directory listing. The premium listings show up on the homepage. You can do local guides like a pumpkin patch guide or a Christmas tree guide. Where do you go to buy a Christmas tree? Where do you go to cut your own tree? Where can I go see Santa? You could list a whole bunch of businesses in a guide like that, link to their directory, and now you get all the businesses sharing, and it will become apparent very quickly that our directory, the directory that you have, is much more powerful than the traditional directories that they're used to hearing about. So I really wanted to throw that out there. I was also, Brian, hoping that you might be able to give a few tips to everybody about, how can you take people that are signing up for a listing and convert them into an advertiser, using content, using banner ads, using whatever it may be. Maybe you can chime in on that for us.
Sure, and I'm glad that Ryan added that. There's an example from another publisher before I address this question, where they run an annual, basically a contest of sorts, where they say, hey, get people to leave you reviews, and we're going to do a whole section in print of those reviews, and it's tied to an advertising package and so forth. So what it does is it turns the businesses into promoters of their website, and they've had over 1,000 reviews in a couple years of doing this, just from this activity. But how great is it now that you can send the invite? If you're running this program and there's 50 businesses that you want to get to do this, you can send them an invite. And sure, it'll take a little bit of time, but you're literally sending people a message that says, hey, if you get a positive review, we're going to promote it for you. We're going to do it. And if you make this part of a campaign that people are excited about, now you've got all the tools you need to do that. And I will add, and this is more specifically of when people claim their own listings versus when you send the invites, because they're sort of coming out of the ether as opposed to you already knowing them. But those are really great sales opportunities, and we've talked about it before in individual calls. But you on the line here, especially you who have sales responsibilities, should be notified of every event and every directory listing that's being created. And the directory listings in particular are leads. These are people who are saying, first and foremost, I know you exist, and secondly, I'm investing my time to try to reach your audience. The fact that it's free or paid doesn't matter at this point. And so if you call them up and you say something to the effect of, hi, this is Brian working with Mansfield Magazine. I noticed you created your directory listing 2 minutes ago. If you do it promptly, the odds of you reaching them are really high. And I wanted to welcome you and see if you have any questions. Have you heard about the customer reviews widget? Have you loaded your logo or whatnot? And oh, by the way, tell me a little bit about your business. Tell me about some of your marketing goals. You may or may not know, but we've got this great audience in our community. Kind of talk to you a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish and see if we might be a fit. And more often than not, they're pretty excited. One, you are super responsive, which shows that this is someone I want to do business with. And two, the odds are they're looking to advertise. They're clearly looking to grow their business, and they don't know everything you have to offer. And so this is a really, really good revenue opportunity. Again, forget the directory. Once you get the conversation, you're going to be able to sell them anything that you want to sell them. It's a warm lead, to be sure. And we've had some success with the publishers that we work with on this. So great opportunities there. We'll probably do a more detailed dive on that in the future. I'm going to switch gears to wrap up and just briefly introduce the new ad server. So next week is going to be all about Broadstreet, the ad server that we've used, that we've moved to. But a couple things I want to highlight. First and foremost is that you can manage your own ads. And I had a publisher ask why we're now making you manage your own ads. And to be clear, when you were submitting the IOs, that was not a service, that was just a necessary evil. So now that you can manage your own ads, it's actually much more efficient for you and you have a lot more flexibility. But more than that, Broadstreet has some really great tools that you can embrace. Now, your ad serving is included in your Locable membership. It's a paid service, but we got a good bulk deal. We're including it in your membership as no added fee, so you don't have to worry about the basics there, and there's lots of cool things. It's fully managed by you. There's actually some tools so businesses, if you wanted to, could update their ads. We'll talk about some of that next week. They're also responsive, so you'll notice mobile looks a lot better now. The ads aren't keeping it sort of zoomed out. We are also exploring mobile-specific ads and how we can have sort of different ads that will perhaps be easier to read and better performing on mobile. But some great stuff. So The way that you can manage your ad server is pretty simple. Up in Manage Site, you'll see a new option that says Ad Management, where my cursor is there. And when you click on it, it'll bring you to a page that looks like this, and you'll have a number of things that you can do. Now, Ryan did create a Getting Started guide in the Support Center. Broadstreet has their own Support Center, and they have a Facebook group. There's a link on this page when you come here that you're free to join that has really good, really responsive support, both from the community and from the two founders who are very active. So check this out. Play with some things. You can definitely get a long way very quickly doing this. You will notice there is some billing info and all of this. Again, your basics are covered. However, Broadstreet's doing some really cool stuff to create new types of ads. And I'm not going to get into all this because we'll do the deep dive next week with them. The two founders, I believe, will both be on the call, but they'll get into this. And the point is, there's some really cool new opportunities that you have to sell things that we just couldn't do in the old ad server. These are great for you. They are not included in your standard membership with us. So if you select it, you'll be paying for it. But clearly, it'll be a good thing. Like one of the things we love over here is the ability to quickly mock up an ad, and it generates it for you with just some basic info, and it's only a couple of bucks. So, it sounded like Ryan was going to add something.
Yeah, I was just to be perfectly clear here, standard banner ads, which is the first one you see on the top left, those are included. Any HTML ads or third-party advertisements you want to go, that's included in the base cost. We're eating that cost because we really like what Broadstreet has to offer for local community publishers. All these other ad types here, use them if you choose, but there's some really cool features. If you don't have a full-time designer on staff, I believe the ad mock-up that you see on the bottom left-hand side will allow you to basically create a fairly decent-looking for just a couple bucks a month. You can pass that cost along to your advertiser if you'd like. They have an editable ad, which basically allows you to say, all right, well, you have the ad space, and as the advertiser, if you want to go in and change different details once a month, say you want to promote one product and then switch it a little bit later, you can actually give them direct access. These are things you can kind of use as like an upsell for them. I guess the expectation would be is you'd have a conversation with them, and if they're like, hey, I would like more control, it's like, oh, well, we can do that. It's an additional $25 a month on top of the normal fee. So we're going to dive deeper into this next week. We will have both founders of Broadstreet join us, and we'll have a whole bunch of examples to show you. I am going to actually reclaim the presenter role real and I just want to show a quick version of how to post an ad. So this is the Locable account. This is the test account we have set up. Something similar for your individual publication. When you first come in here, you want to click on Advertisers on the left-hand side. From there, you'll see my browser is going to catch up with me. You'll see a list of advertisers, or you'll have the ability to add your own. So you can see we have a couple default ones set up here: House Ads, Google Ads. If you have someone new, you would come up here and click New Advertiser. The advertiser is just a customer. You should have, you can have as many ads for each advertiser as you want. You can have as many different campaigns as you want. But it's as simple as coming in here and saying, Bob's Plumbing. And then you can even automate the reports. So if you wanted to send a weekly or monthly report to them with all their stats on it, you can do that there. I'll skip that for now and move forward. And when you get to the next screen, and I see that some people, it seems, are having a few difficulties with the browser refreshing, so hopefully that'll catch up. I am traveling this week, so dialing in from a Starbucks down here near Dallas, Texas, Mansfield Magazine's neck of the woods. So I apologize for the screen lag. But when you come here, you basically, you can add an advertisement. An advertisement is the actual ad. Since my screen isn't updating, I won't show you that piece, but that's where you would basically say, right, here's the name of the ad, here's where I want it to link to, and you would upload the actual, image that you want to display, and then the last step, you would come over here to create a campaign. A campaign is basically just a way of grouping a bunch of different advertisements and displaying them on the site. So you give this a name. I'll just say test for now. You can set start and end dates, or you can leave them blank. Always. You can actually do a very specific level of targeting now, even down to the article level. However, we still recommend using the share of voice concept, meaning, you have the sidebar ad, it's going to show on every page, and if you have 3 people in the sidebar slot, each of them will be shown 33% of the time effectively. However, if you're interested in targeting, I suggest taking a look at that help desk article that Brian referenced before. It has all the details of how to set that up, and we're happy to, especially as things are getting going here, to walk you through how to do all of this. Once you've kind of created a campaign and associated, the dates and the links and put all the images in, the last step is called placements. And this terminology starts to get a little bit funky, but for all intents and purposes, you can think of a placement as, hey, I want this ad, which would show up here, to show up in the inline spot, and then you would say create placement, and that's what actually puts it onto the site. So there's basically 4 steps. Add your advertiser, choose one from the existing list, upload the ad and give it the click through, create a campaign and set the dates, and then place the ad in a specific area on your site, which is called a zone. So all this is outlined in that help article. I've heard from a lot of you that are like, hey, I'm excited to work with Broadstreet, but there's a big learning curve. I am happy to sit down with any one of you. Just give me a call up. I'll walk you through the first 3 or 4 ads. I will help you post them. I hope you understand everything you need to do to target it just the way you want. If there's any very specific questions about how to use a different premium ad type or any of that, please go to the Broadstreet support. But outside of that, please use me as a resource as we're going forward here until you're comfortable. We want this to be as seamless and easy to use as possible, because ultimately this is, now that I've gotten, really good at posting this, is even faster than submitting an IO, which was the old process. So this has a lot of different benefits, and we're really excited about what they continue to do, and they continue to innovate and find different types of ads. One, for example, is I heard this morning that they're working on doing an ad specifically for coupon types. So those of you who have asked about coupons in the past, Broadstreet will be releasing a specific ad type just for those that'll be mobile responsive, and you can pull them up on your phone and all that kind of stuff. So with that, I do see quite a few questions coming in, so let's see if we can address some of those. Brian, do you want to address the first question from Lisa? Brian, I'll give you back the screen so that you can actually talk.
All right. Sorry for that little changeover delay, but so ads, we migrated all of the content from the old ad server to the new ad server, and Ryan spent a good deal amount of time going through to make sure everything was properly showing, and there may be a few remaining kinks left, but by and large ads should be showing as expected that were on the old site. And Ryan's right. I mean, I sort of stayed out of the Broadstreet stuff until yesterday, at least in terms of using the system. And then with him gone, I took the opportunity to sort of jump in, and within about 5 minutes, I was posting stuff, and it was fast and easy and all of that. And there's also reporting that can be automatically sent to clients, which is kind of cool. If you have any other questions, post them. I'm going to talk for a moment about this process of inviting somebody. So coming back, we're going to send an invite here. Tom told me that the name of the person is Matt. Let's see if I can actually type and talk at the same time. Matt McElmoyle, I think that's correct. And I've got his email address, and I crafted a little message here. I'll make it more personal now that I know that it's Matt. Hi, Matt. We took the liberty of creating and updating your listing to premium. Please be sure and click the link below. There's going to be a link down here, and upgrade your account and so forth. And so I also included a little treat. Hey, by the way, because it's premium, it's going to be on the home page, so be sure to do it. So when I click Invite to Premium, this is going to generate an email that goes out to Matt. It's going to associate Matt as the owner of the listing, and when he claims it, it's going to set them up at the top here. So this will all refresh, and we're going to be good to go to have your first upgraded listing on the site. Now, he hasn't claimed it yet, so there may not be much information there, but when he does, it will appear. So it's just that easy to send out invites. Again, that was a paid version, but you'll have both free and paid options as you go.
And I'll just jump in. One of the other cool things about doing it this way is when you invite somebody and upgrade them, it automatically makes you a manager of their listing. So if you wanted to offer this either as a free kind of value add service or as an additional premium service, you could go in and manage the listing for them. You may, just to make it look pretty and help them out a little bit, you may want to go grab their logo off their website and add it to the listing, maybe put a brief description in. They can always come and change all this stuff. But it's giving you as a publisher a little bit more control over what you can and can't do for them on their behalf. Because as we all know, working with local businesses, they're busy, they forget, they may not be too technically savvy. So now you have the ability to really help them see the value and get the value out of the directory listing that you're selling them, as you see fit.
That's a great point. I almost forgot to mention, and I am logged in as Tom, so I was able to go and look at my profile and the directory listings I'm associated with, and you can see I'm now a manager of Oliver Bistro, and I can come in here and manage that. Now, if they choose to remove me as a manager, remove Tom as a manager, they can do that, but in order to just help keep it going, I can do things for them, which is pretty cool. So anyways, that's how you do the invites. It is fast. It is pretty painless. And now the local spotlight magically appeared with Oliver's Bistro as the first premium listing. One of the great things about doing this is that it does, in fact, introduce the idea that people can add their own and want to be there and so forth. Like all elements of the homepage other than the carousel, you can reorder this to switch the order, but at the moment it's showing just under the carousel.
Yeah. So I think Brian already addressed the last question here. What about the ads I already have on my website? I did go through to the best of my ability to make sure everything was there, but please double check, and if you see anything that doesn't look quite right, just send me an email. I'll get it taken care of right away. Lisa asked, if you sell an upgraded listing as part of a package, what tool is available to remind us when that upgraded listing is due for renewal? Or do we just need to keep records on our end and make sure we either renew it or downgrade the listing? So Brian, do you want to cover that?
So I would say only sell an upgraded listing as part of a package. As much as I'd love to have you and your sales team out there selling listings, it's not the best use of your time for $25 a month, and so it should be part of something bigger, and obviously whatever system you use. We've talked previously about using FreshBooks and tying that to recurring billing and automated billing with credit card. If you do it in FreshBooks, then you can set the length there. Other reminders are also possible as well, but I would definitely tie it to something else. If this is a situation where you're out with somebody and they're like, well, I don't know what I want to do, but I'll start with the upgraded listing. Well, rather than doing what I just did, have them go through the self-registration process. Have them go through, clicking add yours, or if you're signed out, you're going to have links at the top which say, add a directory listing, and it'll walk them through. At that point, they're going to be credit card based. If they never become a bigger customer of yours, there's not going to be any time sink on your end. We're going to handle all the credit card processing and so forth. And if they do upgrade, great, but it's taken care of. So, it just depends on the situation, and in the future we may build some additional tools. We're open as always to input. This upgrade is definitely step one of many for a few things. So if it looks like there's an interesting way for us to easily set reminders and so forth for you, we'd be happy to explore it.
All right. Well, with that, thank you, Brian. I think that's all the questions we had for today. I know we covered a lot of new stuff, and we did it pretty quickly. Make sure to join us next week for the Broadstreet call. We'll do a deeper dive into all the different ad types they have, discuss reporting, and for those that are interested in billing through Broadstreet, you could actually charge for ads through Broadstreet if you'd like. There is a fee associated with that. However, we'll cover that as well next week. With that, we're going to stop the recording now. I do see a couple other questions coming in, so if those that want to stay on the call, we'll be happy to stay here for a few more minutes and walk through the invite process and the upgrade process one more time. Otherwise, thank you for taking the time out of your day, and we'll see you next week.